Okay, so you are recording. Emilee, if you can introduce yourself and you can share like a little bit about your story and about how you came across all this amazing information.
Yeah, well, hi everyone. So my name's Emilee. I joined the team about in the beginning of February, and I kind of started on this journey because in January I started a Whole30, which was a pretty strict diet, just trying to get my health back in order, and I found it works to kind of help me, keep my health and wellness goals still on check. And honestly, everything I try, like it's so embarrassing. I could scroll over here and show you the boxes of stuff I have piling up. Every product I love. Basically, I feel like if you live the brand, I mean, it can sell itself. So I'm really excited to share these tips. I'm super type A, and obviously I haven't used Facebook as a, marketing tool for my personal page. So I just started Googling because I kept hearing about this algorithm, and I found a lot of information through a lot of credible sources and also a lot of articles. And I just thought that I would just compile them down to my top 10 tips, and these top 10 tips are loaded with information in them. So I hope you guys find them helpful. So, oh, you're muted.
Fine. So I wanted to, the green and me is dying right now. So I wanted to just kind of let them know, like, tell them like the top 2 tips, and then we'll talk about how we can like use those tips to make our businesses better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the biggest thing to understand is that we're all being watched. So Facebook has a very extensive mainframe and technology behind it where everything you post is essentially monitored down to the words that you use within your posts. So I'm trying to think, like, honestly, there's so many tips, but I think the biggest thing is to avoid your page looking spammy. It's the 80-20 rule. So 80% personal, 20% promotion. And within the 80% lifestyle, definitely that's incorporating products within, your everyday life. I think that's totally fine. But I think that way, it also helps your page not look spammy. Because one thing I noticed was when I was friending new people, I kind of took a step back and realized, what is my profile looking like when they're visiting it? And I want to make sure that it's not looking like I just added them to get their business, because at least with my approach, I'm trying to get to know people first. And if they reach out to me first, that's fine. But I want to make sure that it's a nice balance. So I think that's a really big rule and a takeaway. The other thing too is if Facebook wasn't your main social media to be posting it, it should be. So Facebook is the biggest network, like the platform out there. There's over 1.6 billion views and active users each month. That's up 17% to last year. So for people who thought that Facebook was going away and it's all about Snapchat and Instagram, like Facebook is definitely prevalent. So definitely, keep those stats, in mind. Also posting 3 to 5 times per day. And we all understand peak times, but the amount of people on the site, it's kind of like no time is a bad time. And I found out some new stats. So the highest traffic midweek is in between 1 and 3 p.m. So that makes sense. That's people, finishing their lunch, taking their afternoon break from work. I mean, I do it. I have that 3 p.m. crash. So that's where they are they're most common to be scrolling through pages. A Facebook post at 7 p.m. will result in more clicks than an average posting at 8 p.m., which I thought was really interesting because before that, I thought it was a little bit later and the night would be better. And then also, if you interaction on Facebook is 18% higher on Thursdays and Fridays than any other day of the week. So this kind of lines up too with, payday Fridays and really trying to, restart those conversations up with potential, loyal customers who never got it back. So
okay, this is like blowing my mind already. Okay, let's slow down.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm literally like, what? I was doing everything wrong. Okay. So, because this is the first time you guys, this is how this happened. She's like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this research on the Facebook algorithm and listen to all the stuff I've learned. I said, I don't even want to hear any of it. I need you to do a training for this whole team. And I want everybody here at the same time. So my mind is blown. So the first tip, let's go back to the 80-20 thing. Okay. So we all know that we need to be mixing product and lifestyle. And we're not going to do a training on what those posts are, but if you guys are not doing most, like majority of product posts, of personal posts. So that can be lifestyle, that can be daily quotes, that can be your motivational stuff in the morning, but that is your, okay? So that should be 80%, and then 20 of it should be the business. But if you think about it, that's what you want anyways. It works as part of your life. You want to incorporate it, but it's not your whole life. So make sure that you're showing that in your profile. You want your profile just to be a reflection of you. So that's an awesome, awesome tip. So 80% personal, 20% product, okay? And like she mentioned, like within that personal, that can be you personally using the products. That might not count as your product post, but we're talking about strictly products are before and afters. The other thing that you said, okay, I want to make sure that I wrote this down correctly. There's 100 or 1.6 million active users on Facebook. Is that correct?
Monthly, yep.
Monthly
active users.
Okay, and that's up 17% from last year.
Correct.
Okay, that's crazy because I was literally like, oh, Instagram's blowing up, Facebook is winding down. Okay, no, I was wrong. So if I told any of you that on my team, then disregard what I said. Okay, and then posting 3 to 5 times a day. Did they give you a reason why posting 3 to 5 times a day was like, nope?
I think it just helps mix up the variety of what falls on your newsfeed.
Yeah.
I think that 3 to 5 times a day, I would obviously have each day be 3. I think that's a good rule of thumb. But I feel like on the Thursdays and Fridays where you're having the most engagement and the highest activity, 5 times a day might help you expand your reach. And that's what they kind of call it, is they call it expanding your reach. Because the reach is really you following on other people's news feeds. I'll get into some other tips about how to actually get engaged with other people's news feeds very easily, like using your own profile page, which I think is great.
Yeah. Okay, so 3 to 5 times per day posting. So, and then 1 to 3 p.m. is when it's most active. Like I was off on that too because I thought it was literally like you're going to post during like around noon at lunch. And then I would definitely think that night would be the most active. But apparently, I guess like people have other stuff going on at night. So they would rather, that's like their dead time or when they actually really don't want to be working.
Right. The way I read it is that the highest traffic, so they're visibly going to see your post. That doesn't mean they're going to be engaged with it. So the 7 p.m. will result in a little bit more engagement. They're more opting to reach out to you to ask for more information, or they're not at work anymore, so they know they could reach out because you would obviously respond right back. So you might catch their eye during the 1 to 3, which I think is important. And what I've noticed is I've posted before and after around lunch, as we all know. And then that night I'll do I need to update my product tester, and it'll be the same type of product that I posted my before and after. And I've been getting really good engagement that way. Because then they're like, oh, I remember seeing that. Like, okay, I want to try that. And now they have time to think about committing versus like just looking at a picture.
Yeah, and I definitely thought Sunday was the best day. And you said Thursday and Fridays are.
Thursdays and Fridays are 18% higher than any other days of the week.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is anybody else mind blown, or is this just me? Literally, I'm like unrelaxed. Okay. And then, okay, so those were awesome tips. So let's move on to like what you were talking about with like expanding your reach.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, these 2 tips go hand in hand. So get users engaged with your page. So your posts, you will expand more reach if you get more activity around your posts. So activities can be liking it. It can be showing emotion. It can be people commenting. It could be people even reposting your post. So that type of information is critical because then Facebook is assuming that it's a post that wants to kind of be broadcasted out and would be a little bit more relatable to people. So my favorite engagement, this is one of my favorite tips I'm so excited to share, is like ask open-ended questions with your followers. So people love to insert their opinion. And if you can ask questions that are universal that anybody can answer, you are going to see like great success, because like if somebody, it doesn't matter if they're male, female, single or not, kids or no kids, you want Facebook to see that your profile is more than just your network marketing tool. And even though you might get responses from people who would never buy into the business, it still could be connecting you kind of in that back end to following on their feed because it's showing activity between common friends. So here are some examples, and I've actually used this first one that I've seen really successful. Favorite Netflix series. People love to share that. It's easy. Everyone pretty much has a form of Netflix. Easy weeknight dinner. Everyone eats dinner. Trying to find a new drink at Starbucks. What do you get? I mean, that's a little bit more specific, but everyone, needs that caffeine. Who do you have winning March Madness or any type of sporting event final? Just getting the conversation going. Favorite vacation spot. And then what are you cooking for your holiday meal? And so that's important. Maybe you're on Easter or Thanksgiving or Christmas. So again, questions that multiple people can answer, because you might not really care what they have to say, but it's all about the connection in the back of mutual friends that person and you had in common.
Yeah, for sure. No, I always do like random stuff like that just to get my engagement up. I'm sorry, somebody is not muted and I'm keep like trying to find that person. But the one thing that I did, and I like got a crazy amount of responses, was I asked like, do you prefer noodles in your chili or no? And I literally got like 45 comments. Okay, it was ridiculous, like 70 comments. I don't even know. And some people were like, noodles, like what the heck? I've never heard of that. But it's like a funny thing. So if you guys are even having like a debate with your friends, or like you guys just are having a conversation, like put it on Facebook. Even if, like Emilee said, like even if you don't care, like I ask this all the time, like I ask parental advice, you guys, when like I already know what I'm doing, but like people always want to like help other people. And it's not that like I'm not going to take that in consideration, but like if you're talking about you're getting new glasses, even if you already have those glasses picked out, say like, hey, I'm getting new glasses, like which is your favorite brand? Or hey, I'm looking for best pair of rain boots or whatever. Anything that you're doing that you feel like other people do, talk about it on your Facebook. And you'll get a lot
generally you can be. So I noticed from experience, like I once asked like, I want to get a new digital camera. What do you guys recommend? And like, of course, the artsy people responded back. But when I asked something so generic about Netflix, I heard back from people I didn't even know I was friends with. So the more universal it can be, I mean, yeah, it's, again, like I don't really care, but I mean, I do care. I was looking for Netflix, but it's all about the back end connection that I was mostly surprised about, because then the next day I posted about the cleanse and I got 2 loyal customers that were interested, who I realized we were mutual friends from somebody who wrote a response. So it's like, oh my gosh, it works, literally. So
yeah, no, that's so good. I love that. Okay, so the more activity around your post, and I think we all kind of know the basics of like, obviously the more comments and likes and stuff that you get, the more people are gonna see it. Especially if people, like I saw people's posts today from Sunday, if people had commented. Mm-hmm. So that way you can kind of like, you see those for like a longer period of time because they appear relevant to you. So give us some more tips on how we can get more activity around our post, or what that might mean.
Yep. So engage. So now, the next tip is you getting you engaged with your page. So every time somebody comments or likes, you should be liking their comment or responding back to their feedback, because again, Facebook's ultimate goal is to keep as many people glued to the social network as long as possible. So the more that you keep your posts going and there's interaction and involvement, the more opt that Facebook's going to read that they're going to have this post live longer in news feeds. So if you have content that is getting a lot of activity, they will resurface it again 24 hours later if they're seeing, comments and conversation happen around a post. So again, that's as easy as you liking people's comments or whatever. The next thing too is, getting engaged outside of just your wall. So I thought it was really interesting that Facebook wants to see you using their other parts of their platform. So joining group pages. So like other hobbies, like, mommies, CrossFit, your local gym. I'm in a couple Whole30 groups. This is also as a way for you to, find potential customers, because there's a lot of posts in there about, I want to keep up a healthy lifestyle. And it's like a no-brainer. My cousin sells Lua Rose. So she's in a private group and we help, we're in 2 different segments of the network marketing business, but like we help refer customers to each other. Because, they're already, opt to be shopping online. So if you have any other friends who are, do some other type of network marketing that isn't competing with us, I think it's good to also just have a meeting of the minds, because my cousin knew of a lot of girls I didn't even know of that we live in the same city. And the easiest way to get involved, this is even if you have 5 minutes is write happy birthday on people's pages. They said that is the easiest way, that if you have 3 minutes, Facebook delivers to you every morning. These are the people's birthdays that you follow. Just write happy birthday, because the chances of them either liking or commenting like thank you is huge. And that way, that'll keep you consistently circling through your friends and making sure it's relevant. Because I could see like me writing on some girl's wall and her being like, oh, I wonder what she's up to. Click, she could visit it. So that is the easiest way. You have 3 minutes, write happy birthday. It is like the easiest thing you can do.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So is it true? Like, did you read anything about like the likes on, like, if you like that person's profile or like go to their profile and you like more of their stuff, that they'll see more of your stuff too?
I didn't read that necessarily, but it depends. They also like, but if you naturally think about it, like if you got a like from somebody that you didn't know, I mean, it's very possible that you'd probably go and visit their page. I didn't read that specifically, but it's obviously natural involvement. So
yeah. Okay.
I thought that was interesting.
Okay. So get the more activity around your post, ask open-ended questions. Every time somebody comments, respond, either whether that's thank you or like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch that, whatever. Joining group pages. Did it say anything about being interactive in those group pages?
It just says just, reach outside your platform. It didn't say anything about like you having to like
right
be super engaged, but just visiting. I mean, it tracks you visiting these pages. So it makes it look like you aren't just there for your wall. So
okay.
It wouldn't hurt, especially if you're trying to find friends through those groups, to be a little bit more engaged, so they're just not assuming you're like spearheading them and finding them. So
yeah, for sure. Okay. What about like any other, do we go over all of your top 10? Have we even made it?
I have a couple more. So going live, I think that's really important, but making sure you don't have any music in the background. This is one that they're having trouble monitoring easily. So they said shorter videos work best. They said 2 to 5 minutes. And again, mix up your posts about what you go live about. So daily beauty, how you make your shake in the morning, like you can definitely mix it up. But that way, every time that you have a new live video, they're not just assuming you're talking about the business. So I thought 1 to 2 to 5 minutes was interesting, because I watched some videos that are super long, but they said 2 to 5 is the best. There's also
more people will watch your replay.
Pardon?
I wonder if that's because more people will watch your replay.
Yeah, because they'll see the whole thing, and it's like 19 minutes. They're like, I don't have time to do this. Like, I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
So they just said that's where they have the most success. Also, the way around. So there's also a list of naughty words that I can send out after this. But there's a couple words that Facebook automatically flags when you put it in your post as being spammy. So words like buy, comment, coupon, deal, discount. I'll send these out to you guys. But any of these words you use, it automatically flags in their system, and like you're being monitored, which I thought was really scary.
Can you put those in the chat?
Yeah.
Let me see. So actually say them and I'll type them. Buy, discount,
comment, coupon, comment.
Wow. Coupon. I'm always like, comment below. Oh god. Deal.
Discount.
Okay.
Download. Follow. Free. Freebie. Giveaway. Install. Offer. Percent. Promo. Promotion. Sale. Sample. Save. Share. Shop. Sweepstakes. And win.
I have to delete every post I ever made.
I know, right? I was like, oh my gosh. You know the number one word that Facebook loves that will repost? Congratulations. Post more things that say congratulations.
But you can't say on your promotion, just congratulations.
Just congratulations. So that leads into the other one is text or images with words are fair game. They can't scan that to see what those words are. So if you're going to use those naughty words, that's what I call it, the naughty list, put them in the text or images with the text. So using word swag or PixArt, but just make sure that it's brand right and you can actually read it. Because I've seen, not from this group, but some other network marketing. So I'm like, can't even read what you're writing. So, but that's a way you can kind of get around using those words. But they love the word congratulations, and they're more apt to spread your reach if you use that word. So,
Awesome.
yeah, I thought that was cool. And then my last thing.
I'm like trying to think of like what I can say that like I can get around all this.
I know. My last thing was, this is new as of March 20. Oh, sorry. Allie, stop texting me. As of March 2017, your newsfeed is weighed more by reactions than likes. So if you hover over the like button in the status, you can choose different emotions to add to their status. Love, haha, wow, sad, and angry. And now those are being more weighed on statuses than just people pressing the like button. I was like, what? So now I'm doing all emotions. If that makes sense.
Cool.
So that's brand new information, hot off the press, March 2017.
Off of the press.
So quick question for you.
Hold on. Yes.
How much longer are you gonna be on your Zoom?
I don't know. Why? Everybody on the Zoom is waiting.
Well, because we're getting ready to go search me the book, but Mac wanted to know if you're gonna be able to come.
I'll come up there. I'll give you a kiss. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So is there so is that weighed more by like the number of people who react versus the number of people who like it doesn't matter? It's just that if you get more reactions, it's better. So
all it says is that the news feeds are going to be weighed more by a post that has reactions versus just plain likes. So if you are if it's a high traffic time and you're competing for your post to be obviously in a higher reach, you want your post to have more reactions to it versus just having regular likes, because what I read was basically people can't just press like. You have to actually like think about what your emotion is that you're pressing towards that status. So it's a little bit more heartfelt and it takes more effort than just pushing the like button.
is it when we react or when other people react to ours?
It's both. So you reacting to other people's statuses or posts will mean more, and then when they react more on your posts, it'll mean more.
Okay.
So,
okay,
you want
cool.
people to react, and you need to react more, especially if you're friends with some fellow It Works girls. Like, be reacting instead of just liking.
Yeah, no, that helps. And I think that like even what I've been doing recently, and I think it's helped, is like I've even been commenting like when people ask like they're looking for like people who want to grow their hair out or whatever, like I'll like comment me, like even if obviously I don't need hair skin nails, so I have like 16 bottles, but like I think if we can do that for each other and like act like, you know, me, then all of the like more people are going to see it because more people are interacting with that post.
And they don't know that you sell it. I mean, if you shouldn't be friends with the friends that you have on Facebook. I know that can get a little gray area, but they shouldn't be able to tell unless they're friends with you, you know, your profile. So I think that that's definitely a valid call. So, but I thought that was really interesting. And it's like update March 2017. This is now a thing. And I was like, okay. So, right.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's so awesome. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, Emilee, it by no means works for Facebook. She's just been
They
nice.
probably hate me right now. I mean, I'm glad we're not streaming on Facebook because I probably
Right. So obviously she did, but if you guys have questions that maybe she read over something, or, you know, if you want her to clarify anything that she said, please unmute yourself because I muted everybody. And I think she'd be happy to answer. I hope she would, at least.
obviously.
I have one. Were there any other, I know you mentioned like congratulations was one of those like big words. Were there any other words that you came across that were like good for the algorithm instead of bad?
So that's funny because in that article, it listed all these bad words, but then it only listed one good word. That was actually something I was going to keep researching because the example they said from congratulations was because that can be anything: baby, marriage, engagement, anniversary. And those are the type of moments that Facebook really wants to spread farther in your reach. So I'm going to do a little bit more research and I can let you guys know if we find any other words.
Cool.
I thought it was weird too. There was only one good word versus like 12 bad words. But
Those bad words though, like I would have never think like comment or like promotion. I mean, I guess it makes sense when I think about it, but like I was just not even thinking about it.
I'm not even on this chat. Where'd you get your info? So I'm like a huge Googler, and I can send you guys some of the links. There's a Forbes article. There was like a money article. There was a couple blogs with some sources in it as well. I just started Googling like, how do I make my Facebook more active and engaging? So that's kind of where I kind of got in a rabbit hole. I didn't even know there was a chat. Sorry, I haven't been looking at this.
No, that's why I was like, everybody was saying like, say that stat again. What is the word? So I was putting them in the chat for everybody to see.
Sorry, this is my first time Zooming. So.
No, you're fine. So what I think would be awesome if you could put some in the post about the Zoom, if you could put some of those words in that post, like in Elite Warriors, that would be awesome. And then also if people want to kind of keep researching just a couple of the links that you have, that would be so cool.
Yeah, of course.
Anybody else have questions?
Thanks for logging on and listening, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, did you have a
question? I do. So I was talking to April about this. This is like I've been in like 2.5 weeks maybe. So I'm super nervous still about the fact that strangers are seeing my child's pictures, and things that in the past I considered private now are very public.
Mm-hmm.
How do you kind of get over that aspect of it?
So I have a dog, so I can't speak for moms, but what I read about, obviously the most important thing is also you want to be using your personal page because you don't want it to look like you're just business, obviously, right? Right. So there is a way that you can filter your like albums and stuff to certain groups. So maybe if you had some relatives that you still want to be kept up with your kids' pictures, you can alter in the who views your album and like the privacy or something to just making a group with just your family. That way they'll be able to see it, but then everybody else can.
Okay.
So I think there's a lot of cleaning up that has to be done. But I think once you get it in a good spot, it'll become second nature to you to like be able to filter like what information you want on there publicly and then what you want to keep, filtered to a specific group with just your family.
And that's what I was going to ask. Do you guys have it set up for friends of friends to see or public or?
Some people, it really depends on everybody. For me, I do like friends of friends, but my like profile, like for people to search for me, it's totally public. Okay.
Okay.
So when people search for my name, they can find me, but only my friends of friends can actually like view that picture.
Okay,
or whatever. But the children thing, like I can kind of speak to that. For me, if it's not something that I wouldn't want like my people online to see of my kids, like, I mean, obviously, like I'm not gonna, go live when both my kids' butts are hanging out in the bathtub. But like, if I have a cute butt picture, I'm just gonna send that to my family. I'm not gonna post that. But I'm gonna post like appropriate pictures that I don't care, because I mean, it is scary, but in all honesty, the people who want to find those pictures are gonna find them whether you're private or not.
Yeah.
That's the way I kind of look at it. It's kind of like my husband always gets mad because I don't lock my car doors, and I'm not saying you shouldn't lock your car doors, but my rebuttal to him is, okay, well, that person who's going to break in is going to break into my car no matter what. So like if my car doors are unlocked or not. But that's kind of the way that I look at it. And it's definitely not like an easy thing to get over, but you also realize that like, in order for people to feel like they know you, you are going to have to kind of open up a little bit. And that's the whole goal on this Facebook, right? And that's why we want to keep 80% of it personal and 20% of it product, is because, and that's why selfies are so important. People want to know who they're buying from. People want to know who you are when they click on your profile. And like, I always complain about it, like when I'm talking to Brian, because I'm like, it is so hard for me sometimes when I go to people's profiles and they have like all these group pictures, and I'm like, I don't even know which one she is. I don't even know which one she is, because it's always pictures with other people. But when you start doing selfies, it becomes more intimate, and they feel like, oh, this is the person that I'm looking at. This is the person's profile that I'm talking to. This is the person who's real, that I'm going to be buying something from. And I'm going to feel like I know her. Like, I've had so many people come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, how are Mac and Juice? And I've like never even met them before. And it's fine. Like, it's cool to me that like people feel like they know us through my page. And that's my whole goal. And so that's kind of how you should look at it, instead of being like, oh, well, I don't want people to see this of my kids. Well, just post things that you would want them to see and that you're okay with. And that's why like it's hard, because we don't want to seem like we're not relatable, but we also do want to appear that like, we also want our page to look clean and professional. So there is a fine line between making it so that every person that comes to your page, that visits your page, is like, wow, this person's life looks a lot like mine. Like, she is not always put together, or she is not that, but also that it's professional and clean.
Hey, Kels.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to add to with that, making sure that you have your location services turned off with your pictures, and you don't do the check-ins.
Yeah.
That's just another easy way that you can still have the pictures up there and be personal and do those kinds of things, but without being like, yeah, I live at 310 Seven Island Road, come steal my kid from here, kind of thing. That I'm, one more safety thing that makes me feel a little bit better about putting my boys on my page.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like putting my like address and stuff like on my, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah.
My likes anything.
Yeah. And like, I always tell Brian, and he's like, at first he was like, oh my gosh, like anytime I tag him in a picture like of us or whatever, like I always like be like, can you go comment on that, please? Like anybody that like that, like my mom, she's always commenting on my stuff, and I love it, because you know what, that means that more people are going to see it. Like more people are going to do it. And that's the thing, is if you guys don't have like significant others, you should be tagging like your mom or whatever in all of your posts, because that's going to get so much more exposure. Okay. Thanks for asking. That was a good question, Heather. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yeah, go.
So she said, to like put the words in like a word swag type of thing. Is that different than that whole new Facebook thing where you can like type your comment in that like colored background screen? Do you know what I mean? Do you know how some people are like posting with in those big letters? Is that different than like the word swag? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I have no idea the thing on Facebook.
I don't either. That option hasn't come up, but I see it all.
I haven't seen that. But I would assume if it's an add-on that Facebook is showing you, they definitely can probably monitor that.
It's like the Galaxy phone or the Samsung phone. It's one of the phones that offers that for them. I believe that someone had told that it's not Facebook. It's not iPhone. Somebody else's phone.
Yeah, I'm not sure then. But they just said use different apps that you can add images to photos, and it'll upload as a regular JPEG versus text outside of an image. So that's why I said I really liked what was it called again? That one called? Word Swag or PixArt. I think PixArt is free.
Yeah.
But that way you can kind of sneak past if you want to use some of those words. But I'm not sure about the app. I definitely can look into that.
I bet you it probably can. Because if Facebook is controlling it, then
yeah.
I mean, there's freaking smart people over there.
I know.
Okay, well then can I ask another question?
Yeah.
We have like a lot of activity on just like our posts with words and nothing with pictures. Is there like the difference between that? I mean, because we've figured it out that like the smaller questions or whatever get more activity, but is there a reason why, or what the difference?
Well, probably because like we always say like discount product testers. What are we doing? We're doing everything wrong. No. But because when we say who wants to grow their hair out, that has nothing about discount or promotion or tester or comment or whatever. Like, I mean, I have even seen like comment below, like I haven't gotten as much stuff, and now it makes sense because like they're flagging it. And so I think that the words too, like at least I feel like for my news feed, what happens is that they see so many before and afters that they scroll past before and afters and they don't really even look at them. But when they see it just a status, people always want to insert their opinion, like Emilee was saying. And so when there's just a question on a status, then that is easier for them to read in that 2 seconds they're scrolling by than to sit and read like a long post that's, you know, talking about, hey, you know, this is what hair, skin, and nails does, and this are all these amazing things about it. You know, they're probably not going to sit there and read it versus just saying, hey, I'm looking for 4 people to grow their hair out.
The other thing too is like they just said images are huge because it just shows like a personal aspect to the page. I think we already know that. I think we are beyond that. But it's also being able to mix up the different types of posts you have. But I read somewhere, but I don't have it written down. But I think they said like any posts that are less than 250 words, people are opting to reading the entire thing versus, you know, a novel, which I think novels are important when you're telling some stories because obviously that's how you're going to grab people with like personal testimony. But maybe reserving that kind of longer post for, you know, your family story or stuff like that. And then just keeping everything else clear, you know, concise and clear. I get a little word vomity, I think. So I have definitely opportunity to kind of clean it up and maybe not lay so many cards on the table of what the benefits are. That way they'll reach out to me and be like, you know, start a conversation with me because I bet you I can close a deal a lot faster if I get engaged with them versus me giving them all of the details up front and then them either passing or, you know, emailing me. So.
Yeah, for sure. Good question. Anybody else? These are all really good questions. I feel like I've learned so much.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Emilee. And definitely.
Wait, sorry.
No, you're fine.
I thought of something. So like, I'm just wondering for Instagram, do you know anything about Instagram?
I haven't really looked into much to Instagram.
Because I'm about to go change all of like my 400 pre-planned posts.
No.
That say comment and buy and whatever else I have on there.
Facebook doesn't own Instagram, right?
I think they do. I
No,
thought
I
they
think they do.
Oh,
That's why I was wondering if they're like connected like that.
I'm not
Just gonna
sure.
delete everything basically.
You don't have to delete everything. Now I feel bad. I don't
I love this. I love this.
No, I think that's super helpful. And I'm glad that, like, you know, we're all learning this together because even of us that have been in the business for a longer time, I mean, it's stuff that we're constantly learning that we maybe haven't even paid attention to, but now we can pay a little bit closer attention to that stuff and be more intentional with how we're posting and interacting with other people on our newsfeed. You know, don't just keep scrolling past other people's posts that are on our team if you can just take a second to love it or whatever you want. So just be more intentional with the way you guys are posting. And we should do like monthly Emilee catch-ups on the latest Facebook algorithms.
Well, the weird thing is that I saw just like, they're like, as of March 2017, this is the new update. So I feel like it's going to be evolving. It's like once people get smarter, they try to add a little bit of complexity on there to keep, you know, their brand the way they want to keep it. So I can definitely like pull things together and I can definitely look into Instagram too. I think that's really smart. This has really just kind of changed the way that, I mean, I brought some of these tips to my job during the day because our team that runs our Facebook sucks. So I was like, you guys need to
So she's in marketing.
I'm in marketing. I'm a product manager in marketing. So I do that during the day and then I literally come home and do marketing. I do the sales part at night. It's like crazy, but we don't run, I have nothing to do with our Facebook page, but I was like, you guys, these are like, I need to bring this stuff in here. So we can definitely, like once I get enough content, I can definitely hop on here and have a quick Zoom because I think it's really helpful to kind of spread the word. And I don't know if you guys are as geeky as me and like to look up research.
I like to get the research, but I don't like to do it. So.
Yeah, that's why you have me.
No, well, I appreciate you getting on here and thank you guys for jumping on. I'm going to post the recording. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Emilee and hope you guys have a good night. Thanks, Em.
Thank you. Bye.